No, you are not my father. I am not a disgrace. I am vengeance. I am the night. I am Batman!
Well, here we are again. Chapter 10 of the DC Alliance podcast. I'm here with my homeboy Travis Hines. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good, Greg. Sports is back. My hockey team had a rough last night, but we recorded a pretty awesome superhero discussions episode with Brent from Fans Without Borders, so I'll be excited for people to hear that on Friday.
Yeah, at least something good came out of that. I know before that your Raptors beat my Lakers, and that was a rough night for me.
They beat the Miami Heat again today, so that's just what happens. A little bit of sports injected into our DC lives.
That's what we do. That's right. But yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about tonight. A few news topics. We got a couple show questions, a host-inspired question, and then, of course, we're going to cover both the penultimate episodes of Doom Patrol and Stargirl and see how those shows are shaping up for their final episode. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some news. And I always pass it to Travis for the news, so take the microphone, man.
Well, I'll jump in as well, Greg, and plug the network before we get into the news.
I saw you got the hip. Go ahead.
I got your back, buddy. We're part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance. You can find us and 5 other podcasts on the Geek Ultimate Alliance. Like search on your podcast of choice, podcatcher of choice, Geek Ultimate Alliance. That's where you'll find these 6 shows. There's a change in schedule. Mondays will no longer be Marvel Alliance. I think they got scared to be our lead-in, Greg, and they had to move to us leading them in. They will move to Wednesdays. Mondays now will be World's Finest True Believers with Chris Balga.
Still a hard show to follow.
Oh, such a great show. I think it's one of the best comic book podcasts out there. And not just because I've been on it either. Chris and a guest take a look at a comic book run of the guest's choosing. That's great. Tuesdays is this show right here, DC Alliance with me and Greg. Wednesdays is going to be Marvel Alliance now with Chris and Travis Snell. Thursdays is Slice of Film with Katie and a guest. They go back and look through an old movie that Katie has yet to see, most of the time I think Katie has yet to see them, and they talk about them. That's a great one. I know she just did Batman 89 recently with Nathan, and she co-hosts Star Wars Alliance with Nathan. I know this week is a special week. They have, I want to say, executive producer of a book or a Thrawn series. I'm a little bit more of a Star Wars noob, but they're just grabbing their heads, being like, nah, because hear me completely butcher who they're having on. But it's a pretty important guest. They're really excited. They said it was a great conversation, and I can't wait to hear that on Thursdays. And Fridays, superhero discussions. Myself and Greg recorded with Brent from Squadcast Media. We did the world's finest 3-part Superman-Batman crossover in Superman the Animated Series.
Awesome
My opinion, the best episodes of the series. So yeah, we have 2 new shows as well. I'm not exactly sure what those are at the moment. I think I will plug them next week. I know they're coming to the network in August, so I still have at least a week or 2 to remember their names. I'm sure I probably already even subscribed to them. That's probably the way it is, actually. But yeah, we have them, and we have a Patreon account as well. $1 just helps us keep the lights on, as Greg likes to say. $5, you get ad-free episodes and you get early episodes. I know the episode of Superhero Discussions, The World's Finest 3-parter, is already up on Patreon right now for the listeners. So I hope they enjoy that a little earlier than your average listener. But I want to thank the patrons and the non-patrons, just anybody who downloads the podcast. We appreciate it. Give us a like and review if you can on Apple Podcasts or your podcatcher of choice. I think that's about it, Greg.
It is, yeah.
Oh, one other thing. I know Travis Snell reminded me about this. For DC fandom, we're going to be on all day, most of us. We're going to be live throughout the day. there's going to be crossovers with Geekverse as well. I know they're planning on going live for a lot of the day. We'll probably Zoom in or FaceTime in with them and watch some trailers and some panels. So there's big things. We're just waiting for a schedule now for DC fandom, and then we'll have something set up. But it's going to be a fun, exciting day, and DC Alliance is going to shine because everyone's going to be eating well on DC news.
Oh yeah, it's going to be a feast. That's for sure. It'll give us a lot of stuff to talk about for at least a couple weeks. So
yeah,
possibly more, depending on what is announced. So. But yeah, man, good job. Plugs. I hate to keep talking, but I always have you always introduce the news because you're way more plugged into this than I am. So only a couple things to talk about tonight, right?
This is courtesy of Scooper extraordinaire Chris Balga, who dropped us in the chat just before we started recording. There was an interview with Patty Jenkins, and she says Wonder Woman 3 will probably be her last. She signed on for that one as well. Her quote, just a quick one, is, "We're not starting work on that movie right away." Jenkins had said, "I'm hoping to do this Amazon movie before we do a third Wonder Woman, and I may not do either of them. You never know what will happen in this world, you know." That kind of sounds to me, Greg, like she's kind of burned out a little bit on Wonder Woman and DC in general, but anytime she's anywhere, that's what she's being asked. Wonder Woman 84 news, what's Wonder Woman 3 going to be about? Is she going to stay on for more? That's majority of what she's being asked. Not, are you thinking of any other projects? I know Ben Affleck had the same frustrations because he was promoting Live by Night, and all people were asking about was the Batman, which wasn't even started yet. So I can understand that, but this is what drives the business and gets them the ability to do their passion projects as well. So you got to take the good with the bad. I know it can be frustrating being asked about this all the time, but I'm also cool with a fresh director with a fresh outlook taking control of Wonder Woman after Patty's trilogy. It's always nice to get a fresh voice in there, and I think the character and Gal Gadot will withstand several directors before there's any sort of casting change.
Yeah, I agree. I think she's got that spot pretty locked in. I don't think there's any fear of Gal Gadot leaving, no matter what happens. I mean, who knows? Have they even announced anything past a Wonder Woman 3? I mean,
no, they haven't.
Okay, so there may not even be like more than 3 solo, Wonder Woman.
There will be all the Wonder Womans, Greg, for the next 20 years if they continue to be as successful as the first Wonder Woman was. And I don't even know how they're going to gauge that now with COVID and like movie theaters. I know in my theater there's only 49 seats in even the IMAX theater that are allowed to be purchased, and they're all spread out around. So I don't know how long that's going to be in effect. Like here in my province, we have, I want to say, the only active cases we have are the 2 that came from America that had to self-isolate for 2 weeks, and it was like they had to take a test as well, and they were found out to have it. So those are the only active cases we have right now. So I think they could put the movie theaters back to normal here, as long as they kept the quarantine whenever you come into the province thing up. I think they could have the movie theaters back to full capacity right now here on this island.
Yeah, I mean, the only reason that I say that I think that she wouldn't be down for more than 3 solo movies is you look at all like the main characters played by one person. The solo movies usually don't go past 3. I mean, like you look at somebody like Iron Man or somebody like Hugh Jackman, Wolverine. They didn't have more than 3 solo movies. Actually, I don't think Hugh Jackman even had 3 solo movies. But
Iron Man did X-Men Origins Wolverine, the Wolverine,
and Logan. Okay, so yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. But they only have like 3 solo movies. Then they're in a lot of other movies. So I think she'll be in a lot of other movies. But I don't know if I see her going past 3 solo movies as Wonder Woman. But I mean, I could see it, and I would take it. I just, it seems it's a little out.
I can see 3 more Wonder Woman movies being made in the next 10 years.
3 more?
Yeah.
Top of the ones already made. Yeah. Okay, I mean 4 is very possible.
I can see it get to 5 for how. Like, we don't know how, like, with projection of the story and the character. I'm sure, like, when it makes as much money as it did and it resonated with so many people, I think it's just like a formality until it stops making money.
Yeah.
Like, even Batman Forever made money, and it went to the 4th movie, Batman and Robin, for it to fail. And same thing with Superman. Superman went to 4 movies before they gave up on the Christopher Reeve character. Yeah. And that was 4 solo movies. And I know Batman changed kind of like James Bond in a sense for those. It was 3 different Batman for 4 movies.
Right.
Keaton was the only one that did it twice. It kind of seemed like Batman was kind of being in the way of James Bond, different actor, a lot of the time. Mm-hmm. But I just think more than anything, I don't know how they're going to measure if Wonder Woman 84 is a success. With box office is definitely not going to be how they can determine that, because I don't think you're going to get big numbers for quite a while with COVID.
Yeah, and even this video on demand stuff that I know that that this movie's not in play with that right now, but it could change the whole game up, because if it is $25-$30 to rent it, 3 weeks after it's come out, and people want to wait, or 17 days after it's come out, in three weekends, right? 3 weekends, 17 days. People want to wait that, you can stop somebody from inviting a bunch of people over and having a party and watching it. And you lose sales like that. It's just like selling video games to GameStop and whatnot.
Don't really, because like pay-per-views is the same thing, Greg. Like pay-per-views are $60 and you get 10 people together. Everyone puts in $6 and you get the pay-per-view for 1/10 of what you would end up paying for it normally. So right. That kind of stuff happens on the regular. I don't think you're going to plan. You're going to change your plans for the scatter group of 4 people that gets together to watch Wonder Woman 84 if that was one that was released on VOD.
Okay, I guess that makes sense. You're right. After 3 weeks later, especially. I mean, I'm just saying you could. But it's basically the reason why.
That's pay-per-view. That's a smart outlook, Greg. Like, that's the same thing as pay-per-view. Like if you had, like I have a buddy here that loves this stuff just as much as I do. We could definitely get together one Friday evening, rent Wonder Woman 84 on VOD when it comes out, and watch it together and split the cost. Yeah. And it'd be just seeing as going to movie theater with him. So I think that option is going to be more and more prevalent, and I just think that it's going to be hard to get those numbers, but all that is going to have to go into consideration for if a movie is successful now. And I think the bar for successful is going to change. Like I don't see this movie making 3/4 of what Wonder Woman made.
Talking about the next
Wonder Woman 84. I don't see it.
You don't think it's gonna make that?
No.
Wow, really? Well, okay. I guess with nobody being in theaters, yeah.
Yeah, that's why I think that. I think it's gonna be a long time before we see a $1 billion movie again.
So, what was the last $1 billion movie then?
Endgame?
I don't know.
I think so.
Check that out. Yeah, man. Wonder Woman 84. It's coming out soon. Well,
we'll get more information on this. Yeah, we'll get more information on DC Fandom. There will be a panel for Wonder Woman. There were rumors that Wonder Woman was going to drop early, like a trailer early. I might say August 12th. But now it's changed again to the 22nd, which is Fandom. So I just assume that after it's dropped in Fandom, it's going to be shared. And we'll get the third story and final story trailer for this. So it'll be nice. Hopefully we get a look at Cheetah. Just really excited for this movie, Greg. It's been a long time now. It's been over a year. It's been delayed. So fingers crossed we'll get this as soon as possible.
We should have already reviewed it, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, it should have been done last summer, so we shouldn't have reviewed it. It should have been before the show ever existed. It moved again to where it should have been reviewed for the show, but COVID happened, and I'll be excited to review that maybe with you whenever we get a chance.
Oh yeah. All right, what was the other news story you had?
Okay, well, this was a quick announcement too, and I'll just plug. Look at me, network guy. That's what we'll call me. I'm the network guy because I'm plugging World's Finest True Believers. I was with Chris Belga again last week doing Injustice Year 2. I joined him for Injustice Year 1 before, and we got an announcement that we're going to get Injustice Year 0, which is going to involve the Injustice Society. and that just excites me greatly. This will tell the story of the circumstances that led up to the events of Injustice: Gods Among Us.
Okay, prequel.
So there's actually a video, like a picture of like Hitler getting punched by one of the heroes on one of the covers. So I'm really curious. The other one has like Flash line up against Jay Garrick, Black Canary, and Batman lining up against Wildcat, and I just it looks cool, and I'm always ollieing for Injustice. I think that's one of the best comic book runs going. So exciting things. I'm glad to see Tom Taylor return to the Injustice universe, and I think that's its own property now, like its own franchise with the games and the well, you can call them movies on YouTube. They have the cinematic cutscenes put together on YouTube. It basically tells a movie. It's great. And the comics. So I hope one day to get an animated movie in the Injustice world.
That'd be pretty sweet.
So yeah, exciting news, and I'm glad Tom Taylor gets to continue on with this world.
Yeah, it's always good to see the story blossom and sprout out into new things. Get more parts of it. When is that supposed to come out?
Not till next year sometime.
Okay, still got a while.
Quite. Still got a while.
Okay, cool. Well, I mean, that's all really the news that we had. I think things have kind of cooled down a little bit between JusticeCon and the upcoming fandom. So there's not a whole lot going out right now. We do have some show questions, though, if you want to tackle some show questions.
Oh, let's get to it.
Yeah, man. We always put it out there on a day of recording, but once again, anytime during the week you want to hit us up with a show question, just let us know.
Yeah, we appreciate
it, and we'll do it then.
We appreciate the people that did give us the questions. Some of them are pretty interesting, and I'm curious, Greg, to hear your thoughts on some of them.
Okay. Well, let's get going, man. Let's start with Eric, Legendary Bearded Geek, man. Always sends us a question. I appreciate it, buddy. He asked, would DC Metal or White Knight make a good animated film, and what do you hope to see this for the next DCAU? Stories, characters, etc. You want to go?
I'll jump into this one, Greg, and I think Dark Knight's Metal would be great one to adapt in the realm of Apocalypse War. It's pretty cool. I think you could do a really interesting adaptation with it. I, for myself, really am more interested in The Long Halloween getting adapted. I love that story. And I think that's actually the retro episode of World's Finest True Believers that drops on Wednesday, the last Wednesday of the show. I think they review that actual comic. That's one that I think would be great. I also would love to see maybe Watchmen get its own animated universe and have them tell stories in that Watchmen universe. Would be pretty cool to see as well.
I think based on what happens at the Emmys, you might see some more Watchmen stuff out there. What was it, 26 or 28? Something like that.
Up.
Yeah, if they clean up, there's definitely going to be some more. I mean, they're going to demand it.
We might have to review that show when we have the lull here in between.
I don't mind rewatching that. It was a very good, very, very good show. Okay, for me, yes, I agree. Either one of those would make a good anime film. They're great stories. And I've gotten to the point where I'm loving animation so much, I'd rather watch that most of the time than watch any kind of live action show. So any kind of story you can give me in an animated form that I haven't, seen in that form, of course I want to watch it. So yeah, for me it's like Batman. More is better. Just give me more, and I would definitely watch both of those. And then he's asking, what do we hope to see from this next DCAU? I'm kind of trying to just temper my expectations. I want to watch Man of Tomorrow, and then based on what I feel about that, then I'll kind of get the direction that I hope they kind of go in, because there's going to be things I'm sure I like and things I don't like about that. But other than that, I don't really have much expectation. There's nothing that stands out that I really like, a direction I want them to go. They're much smarter than me. I just want them to give me something good,
I'm really curious to see if they're going to continue on, like, the Flash knowing about what happened pre him changing time again, pre Flashpoint 2.0. I'm really curious if they're going to build it and if they're going to keep an animated universe. I think they may, just with the inclusion of Martian Manhunter in Man of Tomorrow. I think they may go that route, especially the picture of the Batman in there. It's making me think that they're going to build towards Justice League again. Mm-hmm. And I'd like for this will be a different way of doing it, doing individual stories first and building towards a League story, mm-hmm. which would be pretty cool. Just to switch it back up. Like I said, I'm stuck for animation like you, and I think anything they choose, they'll nail. But ultimately, I really want them to explore the Watchmen universe in animation.
Oh, in animation. I wasn't thinking about that earlier. Yeah,
that's what I was talking about in animation.
Okay. That's even more interesting.
You don't even need to. Yeah, you could tell completely new, different stories with those characters.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. I'd like to see that. Like I said, just give me more. I haven't seen any animation yet I didn't enjoy.
DC, give me a Watchmen show. Let me be in charge of a season of an animated Watchmen show.
I'd watch it.
I have ideas.
Okay. Well, I'm sure they're listening. So when they hit us up, I'll let you know. All right. Well, let's go on to the next question. This is JB Dillazilla. I think I said that. JB Dillazilla. Yeah.
Yeah, you nailed it.
He asks, am I the only one out there that's getting Snyder and Justice League burnout? It seems like every other relevant tweet is Snyder good or bad. I don't think you're the only one. I personally am not, because I just love hearing about this stuff. Not saying that you don't, but I'm just not burnt out myself. But I can understand somebody getting burnout, because it is all that's out there right now. But that's the problem, is it's all that's out there. We've had so much anticipation for this going on right now, and it's great that the news of it came out when there's really nothing else going on, so we could focus on this. But there's nothing else to kind of breathe or step back from that news, because there's nothing else going on. And next up is Fandom anyway, which is going to have even more stuff focused around that. So I think a combination of all that stuff is a good reason that somebody could get burnt out for this. I'm just excited to see what's going forward, and I'm just ready to see more stuff. And I'm super excited for. I'm not burnt out, just me personally. But I, once again, totally understand if somebody is.
I can understand that as well. There is only. Really seems like there's only news about Zack Snyder's Justice League and a scatter air cut nugget that gets dropped, but that's mainly, you can blame COVID for that right now. Mm-hmm. Nothing else is in production. All the DC CW shows had to be cut off early. They'd be back filming, starting new seasons right now. Actually, they'd be back for a while. We would have gotten to see something from their first couple episodes in San Diego Comic-Con trailers. That didn't happen this year. All the HBO Max originals like Green Lantern Corps and Justice League Dark, all that stuff is slowed down in terms of production with COVID. Same thing with we would be all talking about how good Wonder Woman 84 is. That got shut down with COVID. So mainly right now, the only things that are really like newsworthy are Zack Snyder's Justice League and air cut. I would say James Gunn's Suicide Squad can be in there as well, because I think we're going to get a trailer at DC Fandom about that, because that was done filming. But I sympathize with him, like you. I'm just really excited for this stuff, but I don't want anyone to get their heads beat over with it as well. It's going to be a lot of build up until next year when this drops, so you're going to see that, and it's because these movies are discussed a lot. BVS came out in 2016. And I still see, I want to say, over under 5 articles a week on my timeline about BBS, whether they're good or bad. Mostly it's a lot of people hating on it, but it's still there, it's still being talked about. So that's the main reason why. But yeah, it just mute buttons, mute phrases, mute words. Just mute them for a while. You can even go back and delete it after, but that's what I usually do to avoid whatever I don't want to see. Like, I mute the phrase, LeBron is GOAT. So I don't have to see that nonsense around. I don't have to see that fake news.
Because it's everywhere.
I don't have to see 12-year-olds tweeting that, only seeing basketball for 4 years. So, yeah, just use the mute button. Sorry, Greg, I couldn't help myself. Use the mute button, mute accounts.
It's out there enough, you have to mute it. That's kind of a compliment.
Well, so. Mute accounts, mute words, just silence, just to quiet things down. And I hope you don't get burned out so much that you don't want to watch it.
I agree, man. I think we're right on the same page there. It's just kind of that's the best advice you can give, I guess, or just don't open up Twitter and look at it. I mean, but I wouldn't recommend doing that because then you're kind of taking away Twitter for just not having that. I think Travis is right. Just kind of mute whatever, run with it like that.
I want to say 700 blocked accounts, 200 mute accounts, and somewhere between like 20 and 50 words that are muted. So my timeline is a rainbow of butterflies, kittens, and puppies.
Nice. I should learn how you do what you're doing because I think I only have like 2 people blocked, and I think I don't have any words muted. I just let whatever wants to come in my timeline. I should work on that.
You seem to handle it quite well.
Yeah, I just come to you for advice and ask you if this is real or not. And then the last part, I don't know if he's asking another question, but he did have a statement, and I can kind of take this as a question. And he's talking about how we all know DCU series.
Oh yeah, that's legit. That's kind of a legit. We'll call it statement / do we agree? We'll go with do we agree? I don't necessarily consider all DCU series because Doom Patrol is in there as well and Swamp Thing. And I think both the endings of those season 1s were good. We know Swamp Thing was cut up and things were changed. We knew we weren't getting a second season. That's a bit different. I assume he's just referring to Titans here.
Well, he also didn't say all DC. He just said we all know.
Well, he said we all know how DCU series, so stuff from DC Universe the original. Yeah. I assume he's talking about Titans here.
Yeah.
Which is valid. Both season finales of season 1 and season 2 were bad. I give them a lot less flack for the end of season 1 because they were given the mandate of chop your 2 final episodes up, chop your finale up into 2 parts at the end of season 1 and into season 2, instead of having it all played at the end of season 1. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna fault them less for that. But the second season, the ending on the second season was just terrible writing, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Just not keeping track of where characters are, who's around, not just being smart about immobilizing. All you needed to do, well, one of the things you needed to do, you could have just had Superboy run off chasing Mercy Graves, and them thus would have eliminated everyone saying, why didn't Superboy do anything when Wonder Girl was dying? Mm-hmm. You cut that criticism out. It's just little details, Greg, that they, especially the time they have a lot of time here now before they still haven't gone into production, I don't think. Mm-hmm. So I hope they really work and take the time to craft a great story this time, because I think this is the make or break season for Titans. I think it could wind up on HBO Max because of the COVID, the lack of original programming getting off the ground. They just want more stuff. I really think that Titans could end up there, and that's what he's referring to here with the season finales are poop. This is tame. I've heard Brent say far worse, which isn't wrong.
Right.
About Titans finales. It really hurts, but I do think he's right about Stargirl's finale being great and bucking the trend. But also JB Dillzilla, I consider Stargirl a DC CW show now.
See, I don't consider it a DC CW show until it comes over.
It's already over. Right?
Yeah,
they own it now.
But I watch it on DC Network, so until I have to watch it on CW, I'm not considering it a DC CW show. But yeah, the other part of that question was, after watching the week Stargirl, do you think that Stargirl is going to break that trend? And yes, I think we both do. She's going to. I think it's going to be a good finale. They set up pretty well. Interested to see the way it ended, and we're going to talk about it here in just a little bit. The way it ended, where it's going to start off next week. So, but great questions. And then we have one more question. This is from Comic Book Rundown, and they said you're all alone on a desert island. You have one complete DC comic storyline, tie-ins and one-shots included, with you. What is it?
You want to go first on this one?
I can go first. I feel like I kind of cheated, but it's not technically cheating. I would say Flashpoint, because the Flashpoint was the kickoff for cheating. Well, just hold on, because the Flashpoint was the kickoff for the whole New 52 run. So technically, I'd have everything in the New 52 as a tie-in.
You only get the Flashpoint stuff.
Okay. I was wondering about that, and I was like, well, I mean, if you consider that a tie-in, because technically all those comics are tied into Flashpoint, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know, man. I'm having a hard time not considering that a win. But either way, I didn't write down another one, so I'll just go with Flashpoint because I love that story anyway.
Well, they have a lot of tie-ins, right? Well, especially the Wonder Woman and Aquaman tie-ins are great for that.
Right. Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about the Lantern, like a Brightest Day series too, because there's a lot of tie-ins. But that one, you would think that I would pick a Batman, but I feel like that story has enough Batman where it's kind of a half Batman story, just in my opinion.
Yeah, you're not right.
So.
Injustice for me. This is not even a question. I would hope that it would include Injustice 2 as well. Maybe even throw me in the video game on this desert island with the TV. I said Injustice, so that's all part of it. The video game is part of the story. So, and all the events take place in the same world. And it's a crap ton of tie-ins as well, Greg. I think that it would be such a great read, and it would make me forget about being alone on a desert island until I had to start eating the pages for food.
Yeah. You'd eat the pages?
I don't think I would survive. I don't know.
I don't think you'd survive long on paper.
Like, are we having like coconuts in the trees and like monkey butlers and like some sort of like?
I'm assuming he means that if we're on an island where one of our choice items to bring is a comic book, that it's probably going to be an island where we're not going to be. It's like Survivor type deal. It's going to be.
You're all alone on a deserted island.
I could live all alone and be comfortable.
There's deserted islands around where I'm to.
That's true. Hey,
so maybe
bring me up there, man.
Hard. Yeah.
Let's test run. Yeah, I think we read too deep into that question, though.
I think so. Yeah. Started to get started to look see what sports ball I could make into Wilson from Castaway.
There you go. Never let that ball go. That should be the clip art for the show. Is Wilson. All right. Well, that's all the show questions, man. So before we get any further, let's go ahead and take our first break and short ad. Volume may turn up a little bit. Just bear with us for a few seconds, and we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. So we have one more show question. It's actually a host-posed question, which is a really, really good one. So, Travis, you came up with this idea, man. You want to lead us into your fandom question?
Yeah, this was inspired by Squadcast Media. They posted a little 25-minute clip on their Patreon today. If you can support two different things on Patreon, I would implore you to go check their $5 tier out. That's the patron I am. That's the level that I am at the moment. It's great. They talked about what they were hoping to see at DC fandom and what they wanted to see. So that kind of got me thinking. I wanted to ask Greg 5 things that he wants to see at DC fandom. Not that he knows he's going to see it, but I think we'll have some overlap, so I'm going to try to be a little bit different. And my number 5 is going to be I want Ryan Reynolds to be cast as Hal Jordan in Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Wow. You went there, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't even put that one on there. That's awesome.
There's a lot of smoke out there. Anybody that listens to the Film Junkie and his vodka streams, they talk about it a lot. I can't remember, Real Anarchy or something, have been on this saying that this is actually legit. They're in talks to make this happen. And Greg, I think you might have missed in the chat, Brian Reynolds, I want to say an hour ago, liked to tweet that was haters will say it's fake, but Van City Reynolds will say otherwise at DC fandom, #Green Lantern. And from his official account,
I'll take it.
Yeah. A lot of people are saying it'll be a big screw you to the Green Lantern 2011 movie.
Maybe. Hey, that's okay. That's okay. I can deal with that.
I mean, anything to get more Green Lantern
right
on screen. But yeah,
and a good actor to play him. Yeah,
I'd love to see Green Lantern.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, I had 6, and I was trying to narrow it down to 5, and one of mine was just Green Lantern announcement. So I'm gonna cross that out based on what you just said. Now I have 5, so I'll go with those.
Yeah.
I want to see Black Adam in costume.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I want to see it. I don't really know if you have The Rock, if you're going to have like a padded suit or just spandex.
Just
But
spandex.
yeah,
You don't know. You don't
yeah,
know.
well, I know. I'm just, but it. I just want to see the suit, man. I want to see. I've seen the fan art. I want to see. We've heard about this movie for so long. They're supposed to be. He's supposed to be there, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I doubt we'll see him in costume, but it'd be really, really cool.
Oh, it'd be super cool.
But you, man, next.
Well, Greg, I want to see a trailer for James Gunn's Suicide Squad.
Okay.
I'm just really excited for this movie. I love how, even though they're saying it's not, I'm still considering this a sequel to the original Suicide Squad.
Mm-hmm.
We have Captain Boomerang, Amanda Waller, Flag, and Harley Quinn coming back, plus a whole load of other cast and crew, and I'm going to be so curious as to what villains they are. And James Gunn kind of hinted at like expecting a lot of those villains not to make it very far. So I'm really curious. I really enjoyed the first Guardians. I like the second Guardians. It gets a lot of flack from a lot of people, but I didn't hate it or anything. It was just okay. Like, not as good as the first one to me, but I enjoyed both movies. So I'm really interested to see his take on DC characters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting. I mean, Suicide Squad's kind of interesting ensemble anyway. Yeah. Interesting group of people, let's put it that way. I don't know what we're going to get in the future with Suicide Squad. I don't know what direction they're going with it, but it's, like you said, James Gunn, he did great with Guardians of the Galaxy 1. It's one of my top, I can't remember where I put it at. I think I put it in top 5 MCU movies, maybe 5 or 6 MCU movies. And then I was a little disappointed with 2. I didn't hate it. It just fell way off a cliff for me. So may not be all his fault. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I get that. Suicide Squad. Okay, so my next one is I want some confirmation of Aircut. I want it to finally be out there, officially announced, so that way people will stop arguing about whether it exists, when it's coming out. I want some solid news about, is this happening, and if so, when are we looking, like time frame, when are we looking at something like this happening? So I want that.
I'm down with the Aircut movement, and I think it should be. It's just a no-brainer in my opinion for AT&T and Warner Brothers right now. Easy to get another movie, a budget of $150 million. You get it out for less than that. Different version of the movie, but with more content. It just makes perfect sense to me. I feel like that's going to be announced at DC Fandom. For me, is it number 3 for me?
Yes, number 3.
I want a new Arkham game to be announced.
Ooh, okay. That's a good one.
I love the Arkham games. I want to get one with, hopefully with the PlayStation 5, just to see the capabilities and them to fully use that console and its next generationness to tell us a way better story. And I think they've been so successful. You know how I feel about both DC and Marvel not utilizing enough of their characters in games. They used to a little bit back in the Super Nintendo, regular Nintendo game days, but that was just a cash grab for the majority of those games. They were really poor quality. I know people don't want them to pump out a whole load of games without any quality, but I would like for them to build up with several games tied into the same universe and bring all the characters together.
Yeah. Pretty cool. Didn't I see an announcement the other day? Somebody brought something up in the chat room about, or the chat room in the group chat about a new Arkham game, or somebody signed for it. I thought I saw something. I could just be dreaming, going crazy.
EA buying WB Games is what I think you've seen.
Okay.
And I also would love to have a new Superman game as well, but I'm hearing a lot more buzz about the Arkham game, so I'm going to stick to what I think may actually happen.
Okay. Good deal. Let's see. For me, number 3 is I want some kind of Robert Pattinson footage in suit, in motion.
Nice.
Even if it's just like 3 seconds in motion, I want to see some kind of move, a kick, a jump, a crouch, whatever, like just something where I get to see him move in motion in a clear picture of him in the bat suit doing something. It doesn't have to be necessarily a trailer, a little 20-second teaser is fine. I just want to see something like that.
I want to see something with Robert Pattinson's Batman. They did get several days film, so hopefully they get a little something for us, 20, 30-second little teaser clip.
Right.
But I think we'll get something like that, Greg, and I'm really excited for that.
Okay. Number 2.
My number 2, Greg. I want and hope for more info on the next crossover for the DCCW, where it stands in relation to Stargirl, and I want to get some sort of idea how much longer the Flash is going to be on TV.
Okay.
Because we're in season 7 territory now. Arrow only got season 8. I just wonder. Grant Gustin's newly married, and his wife lives in LA, so something tells me that filming in Vancouver is going to start to become a bit more bothersome for him. So I'll be curious, and then I'll be actually curious how the DCCW is going to handle it with their another flagship show leaving.
Man, Flash is in season 7. That's crazy. Yes. Insane to think about that. Well, I mean, they can have that show leave. Go ahead. Sorry.
And unfortunately, I just want to put us in there. The ranking for the seasons go: 1's the best, then it's 2, then it's 3, then it's 4, then it's 5, then it's 6. So
slowly declining.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't call it slow decline, but it has declined.
Yeah. I hear you, man. Well, I mean, and that's just the nature of the beast, But I think that if they're bringing Stargirl over there, that might be a nice transition to another headliner show. So who knows what's going to happen?
Yep.
Number 2 for me, I want. This is not going to happen, I'm sure, but I can hope. I want a confirmation of a Batfleck on HBO Max series. Like, all this artwork is killing me. It looks so good. It makes so much sense. Everybody wants it, and by everybody I mean me, and I don't know about anybody else, but I'm going to speak for everybody else. Everybody wants it. I look at that. I'm looking at a Jordan stat right now. Consecutive games of 10 points. LeBron James 990. Jordan 866. Oh, okay, interesting. But yeah, I want that. I want that.
Meaning
it's like consecutive games with 10 points or more. Anyway, I want the Batfleck. A confirmation of Batfleck on HBO. I'd love to see that series.
Yeah, I think Vince McMahon's walking in right now. His music's playing. No chance. That's what you got for that. But that was going to be on my list as well, Greg. But I didn't think it was going to make it, so I went with the realistic DCCW news.
Okay.
I would love to see it. I like you, think it should happen. It would be fantastic, but only if Ben Affleck is in good health and in a good headspace. That's the only way I would like for him to touch this. Okay, I'm going to do mine's a 2-parter, my number 1, because I am big in animation. So first part of this, I want to know all the upcoming DC animated projects that are coming down the pipeline for the next couple of years. I want to get the animated slate and find out if they're going to do the animated universe, continue to do the animated universe, or if they're branching out just with single Elseworld stories. And also I want, obviously, and of course, the trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Okay. Very, 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 very good number 1. It actually matches my number 1. I want a trailer, which I know that we're going to get some footage, but I'm being specific. I want a 2-minute trailer that is mostly footage that we've never seen, like not on a promo, not from a photo dropped by Zack, not from anything that was Zack Snyder's that was used in Justice League, anything from I just don't want anything that we've seen before. I want 2 minutes of finished stuff that we have never seen. I know there's 2 minutes you can pull out of the movie on there. I'm interested to see it, but I doubt that'll happen. But man, that's what I want. Number 1.
Nathan, I failed you. I know there's a joke in there somewhere with what the words Greg were emphasizing there, but I'm sorry, I failed you.
Didn't even realize it. I have to go back and listen to it. But yeah, that's a good question, man. That was a really fun exercise, and it's funny because I wrote that down 2-3 minutes before the show. I'd totally forgotten about that, but I could easily think of 5 things that I wanted there, and I actually had more, but I had to narrow it down. So we were talking about the top ones, and then I had to remember that I'm not thinking realistically. It's whatever I want, right?
Yeah.
So,
but even then, I would want a Batfleck probably most of all, and I didn't put that on my list because I wanted like some form of realism there because I just don't think I think that has the least chance of happening.
Yeah, I do too. And the thing is, like, normally I would want confirmation, like, and just say, okay, I either want to know if it is or isn't. But this is not even a rumor. It's just, pictures and people talking. There's not even any buzz about it. But that doesn't mean it's not true. I don't know. It's different than it is with the air cut stuff. I know the air cut exists.
Yeah.
I'm tired of hearing people say it doesn't. I'm tired of hearing news if it's going to happen or not. I just want to know for sure. That way that argument can be done, and then people can start complaining about whatever else they want to complain about the haircut. But that argument is over.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's about it for the question, man. We got 2 show reviews to do. We got we'll go ahead and hop into Doom Patrol since this is the oldest, and we'll save the freshest for last.
Yeah.
This is the penultimate episode.
Dad Patrol.
Yep, Dad Patrol. I gotta say, man, I hate this intro. Really? Absolutely hate. Yeah, I hate the intro of this show, man. The dad putting Kay down the well.
Oh yeah, well I don't hate it though because it just adds more layers to Jane's character, shows more depth. Like we thought that all that happened to her was that she was molested as a young person, and those scenes were terrible to see in the first season. But here it just gives it even more depth to show that not only did he torture her physically, but he tortured her psychologically and mentally, and what kind of sick human being do you have to be to put somebody down that well? But we get indication here that that's what happened, and he did it. He said he didn't want to hear any more Miranda talk, so she started to develop like different personalities. I think maybe because of it was because of the abuse, but maybe even because of being put down to the well. We kind of are hinted at is she's just standing there as a child, scared, and she stays that way even as an adult. But we find out later that no, she planned to escape as an adult and tricked her father into thinking that the well was having the same effect on her, but it wasn't. Like after a certain point, when she became a Miranda, that well had a little power on her compared to when she was K. That's the main girl.
Okay.
Little girl. Yeah.
So let me make sure I follow this because I'm still having a hard time wrapping my head around this, and it's kind of what happened at the end, and we'll bring it up towards the end again. But so Kay is the little girl. It's the original little girl. That's the one that everybody's inside her head. Underground is in her head.
Yeah.
Okay. Miranda was the personality she became when she was a teenager or became a little older, I guess, before she escaped. We don't know if there were other personalities in her head at that time. We just know that at that time she was Miranda, and Miranda climbed out of the well. Yeah, right?
But we don't know if the 64 personalities were all developed before the super serum type thing she was exposed to.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know if those personalities developed before or after them. We do know that Miranda developed before them, and that she was the primary at one point. And we get a lot of that. We get a lot of breakdown of that. I also love the Vic and Rita pairing in this episode. I enjoy them, and I enjoy the little nod to the old show titled The Avengers. It's up there. It's on Twitter and YouTube. The comparison, it's spot on with the old show that they did to that. It's fantastic. Doom Patrol is just so weird. I also love the whole Cliff with his daughter. Those were great scenes, and it's so much heart, Greg. Just a great show across the board, and we get some father-son time with Dorothy and Chief, and like I said on Super Civil Servants, Timothy Dalton is just an amazing actor, in my opinion. I'll say it once, I'll say it again, I'll say it over and over and over. I don't think Doom Patrol is nearly as successful if they stuck with the Chief that they had from the Titans backdoor pilot. I think he was poop. He was not good. He did not convey any sort of empathy or make you feel any sort of anything for Chief. Whereas the first episode with Timothy Dalton, he initially like rises up. You feel for the character. You like the character.
Mhm.
I think that it was such a great casting change and does a lot for Doom Patrol's success, especially in the second season. We get a lot more Niles Calder in the second season because the first season he was kidnapped by Mr. Nobody. So we get a lot more of him this season, and Timothy Dalton is just an amazing actor. He will always be Bond, a very underrated Bond. His Bond movies are worth going back to check even now. They stood out. They were different. They were much more aggressive and much more down to earth in terms of like the consequences and what happens. They're some of the most fantastic Bond movies in my opinion, and it would be wise to go back and check a young, late 30s, early 40s Timothy Dalton to see what a badass he actually was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That might be an interesting movie to check out sometime on Super Civil Servants. Go through a Bond series. That'd be fun.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the thing with Cliff and Clara, it's so funny because he's like a little kid. And, I'll bring that up in a second, but I want to touch back on 2 points you were talking about. The team up with Cyborg and Rita was interesting. I don't think we've seen a just Cyborg and Rita the entire show. We also, I don't think, have seen a Larry and Jane the entire show, just those two.
Well,
So
we
it was
got Cyborg and Rita early in the season where he was trying to help her with her powers and
Okay.
try to like. So he helped with that, even though like he didn't fully commit to it because he was going back and forth to Detroit with Ronnie.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he was trying to help her. So we're getting some establishment of friendship here, but this is full bore now. This is more than they've ever been together on screen. So.
Yeah, but he's not even being her friend, man. He's a total dream crusher.
Yeah,
Yeah?
he's not as, but he just had his heart crushed too. So
That's true. But yeah, I was saying the interesting team up with Larry and Jane. I don't think I've ever seen just those two together. Have we? We probably
maybe
have,
in season one once, but I
Yeah.
don't think that much at all. She goes to get Cliff, and he's there with his daughter, so she immediately just leaves. Good on her for noticing that. That we'd be reminiscent to say that Jane takes control of the primary again from Miranda
Mm-hmm.
because Kay wants a bunny that she supposedly left down the well.
Harry.
Harry.
Mhm.
And Jane wants to go because she wants to feel relevant and be able to show that she can still matter.
So we're not really going in any order here. We're just talking about things we liked about it.
Yes.
Full spoilers anyway. Jane, I don't understand. Larry helps Jane down the well.
Yeah.
She goes down the well, and when she comes back up, Miranda's there at the well, and it's nighttime, and Larry's gone.
No.
No?
No. That's not it.
Okay.
She comes back up, and then she goes to the well. She goes to the underground after that with the bunny. But
Okay,
she
I missed her going to the underground
Yeah.
then. That's what it was.
Sometimes that's done like she can just close her eyes. Like remember when she was in the bus with Cliff, but she was in the
Okay.
intervention in the underground. So she just goes to the underground in her head at any point in time, right?
So does that mean that she's down in the well in the underground? She's down in the well with Larry in the real world, and Larry's just holding her at the end of a rope?
Well, I don't know exactly how. Like I assume another primary, like Miranda's going to take control of primary again. So she won't be like that. But
Okay.
Jane's personality, Jane found a letter that made Miranda seem like to be the big hero.
Mhm.
And I assume we'll find out otherwise later on. But my interpretation anyway was she went back into the underground. She went to speak to Miranda. She was going to fully step aside and let Miranda be primary and give the bunny to Kay and show that she has the best interest of Kay.
Yeah, she said she'd fall in line from now on.
Yeah, but Miranda doesn't even care and shoves Jane in the well, and we get we're shown Jane was asking questions at the start of the episode because a couple of the personalities were missing, and we find out that they're all down there, I think killed by Miranda.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely killed on Miranda.
So I don't know how Jane's getting out of this one, Greg. I'm really.
Yeah, it seems like they're building up for an ending or a final episode with a few different stories. Not like one main bad guy, like a few different stories that are going to wrap up their own themselves.
Well, my guess would be that we will see at the end of this season, Jane won't be control as primary.
Okay. I just don't get what Miranda's
goal is.
Yeah, I don't get what the goal is.
I think that's what we'll find out too soon.
Okay. So I'm not missing anything by not.
No, you're not missing anything. Okay. I don't have a clue what her end game is either.
Let's see. What do you think about what Bunbury? Is that the little rabbit's name or whatever little fur creature name is?
That weird thing, yeah.
Yeah, that's prophesizing about the end.
It's Doom Patrol. It's so weird. I had no idea. I enjoyed the Chief's day with his daughter.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the scene between Dorothy and the attendant at the gas station.
Mm-hmm.
Who looks out for her, just shows her kindness for no apparent reason. Doesn't take the money when Dorothy tries to offer her, and just really helps her out.
Mm-hmm.
I would have no idea what to do in that scenario. It just goes to show the kindness of strangers still, and I hope that little little bit of goodness helps Dorothy. Like she thinks about that when we get the final showdown at the end of this season, because I think she's going to have to step up, and I really hope so. Also, we're getting Chief is deteriorating at quite an accelerated rate now.
Mm-hmm.
He's coughing up a lot of blood, and he looks very worse for wear. Do you think we're going to lose the Chief at the end of the season, or do you think he's going to figure out a way to stay alive?
I don't think so. I think he'll figure out a way to stay alive. I don't think you lose that character. I mean, what else would anybody at the Doom? But it's in the house be in there for if it wasn't without him.
I just love the fact that he's still alive. He's like 150 or 154.
Was his pendant or necklace that was keeping him young, keeping Dorothy young too?
I don't know, Greg. I don't think it was keeping Dorothy young. I think it was just keeping him young.
Well, I wonder what made him decide this was. I guess maybe he just knew this was about the time she was about to grow older. Yeah. That makes sense. Okay. The visions of her mother and the Candlemaker were crazy. There's a scene where she's running away from the Candlemaker. It's pretty insane.
That was perfect. That was really good. Like just beautiful visual of her trying to get out of there. And I love her seeing her mother like over and over and over again in different places throughout the fair.
What do you think the red boots meant?
I don't know, Greg. They definitely got to play a role, don't they?
Yeah, they showed them twice. They're pretty predominantly like, bam, red boots, bam, red boots.
I'm really excited to see this on Friday. I don't know. I we close with like Candlemaker saying like you can't stop me. It's time to go. Brownie has killed her old boss, and she's completely gone to the dark side. Cyborg tries to stop her after breaking up with her, and it does not go well at all.
Yeah, the Cyborg story is kind of weird. I'm interested to see how this thing plays out. It always seemed like Cyborg was a separate character from the rest of the group, though.
Well, he came in late in season 1 as well. Maybe the 3rd episode or 2nd. I can't remember, but his whole thing the first season was just trying to do enough to get into the Justice League.
Yeah.
He did not care about these guys at all. So I'm really enjoying it. Like he opened himself up and he got burned, but that just shows character development. And I really like Jobian Wade. I think he's just a nice guy in general. He really enjoys playing Cyborg. So I'm a fan. No one ever accused me of not wanting all the things. So I love Ray Fisher Cyborg, and I love Jobian Wade Cyborg. So get at me with all the takes on these characters. I love it.
Yeah. I really enjoy Cyborg the character in Doom Patrol. I just don't like the look. But the character, he just got the role great. Like, I'd love him. I could see him in a movie being Cyborg. It's fine. Even though I like Ray Fisher a lot, I want him to stay Cyborg. I think he handles it well enough he could do that. I just don't like the suit.
Greg, you got to go back and look at Smallville's version of Cyborg, and then you would appreciate this version of Cyborg so much more.
Oh, I'm sure I would. Yeah.
kind of like Tim from Squadcast Media watching Ninja Turtles 2 and then appreciating how much better Ninja Turtles 1 is after you watch it. It's the same way. Once you see how little effort Smallville put into Cyborg, you will be like, okay, you guys are not nearly as bad as I thought before.
Oh, yeah.
I'll send you a clip. I
definitely want to check it out, man. Always interested to look at crappy versions of Cyborg, right? But all right, man, that's about all we got to say about Doom Patrol. We went a lot deeper into it. Well, I wouldn't say a lot deeper into it. We talked about it again on last Friday on Super Civil Servants, and finale's Friday, so we'll be back here talking about the way it ended this week and probably doing an overall review of season 2. So
yeah, excited.
We got one more penultimate episode to talk about, but before we get there, let's go ahead and take our last break, and then we'll hop right into Stargirl. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. And we're back. Here we go. One more thing to talk about tonight, and that is this amazing show called Stargirl that we have been covering. It's totally blown me away the entire time we've been watching it this season. Penultimate episode today. Just watched it a couple hours ago. Travis, overall thoughts, man. What do you think?
First off, I think that the new episodes come out a little too late for someone that's living in Newfoundland Standard Time, which is an hour and a half later than Eastern Time. So if it's 10 p.m. Eastern Time, it's 11:30 p.m. where I live. So I tried to stay up. I didn't quite make the cutoff for the 1:30 a.m. Episode drop, so I immediately watched this when I woke up this morning, and boy, oh boy, did they ever put themselves in quite a good setup, Greg, for the finale.
Yes.
They lined all their ducks in a row. They have everything set up great. I just love this episode. There was great fight scenes. There was heart. There was characters like coming to understandings, and we just got like good villain scenes and good hero scenes, good ISA scenes, good JSA scenes, and I'm really, one thing that I wish didn't happen in a sense, that Brainwave went into a coma, because he is such a fantastic, menacing villain that I kind of wish we had him for more of season 1.
I think he seems like the most intimidating villain. I think that he actually intimidates Jordan.
Dr. Ito is a little bit intimidating as well.
Yeah, but that's mainly because of look, just overall appearance. But I mean, I guess it's, I don't know, the attitude with, I don't know, you're right. I guess they are both kind of intimidating. They've all got their different, all except for the Gambler and maybe Sportsmaster. Not super intimidating. Yeah, overall, man, show's been great. This episode was good. I did like that. What I was hoping for was that, I know that last episode was 12 hours or whatever until the plan went through. I was hoping they weren't going to do like one episode 6 hours and the other episode 6 hours. Like, I like the way they did it, where the end of this episode, there's like 30 minutes.
Well, they did it even more interesting at the end of this episode. They've already started, and it's only going to take 30 minutes for it to be permanent.
Right. So, which is pretty cool. It's really good writing. That means that the next episode is going to be nothing but action all the way to it, and there should be, because I could only see one big special effect they had in this episode. So it shouldn't be, well, no, I guess there was a staff fight, too, the fight with the staff, too. So 2 special effects in this episode. Still haven't seen Grundy yet. We're going to see him next episode, right?
Oh, it's got to be a certainty, don't it?
I would think so. I mean, now that they know about the underground tunnel, let's get into it. Let's start talking about it, because there's a lot of things that I want to bring up about this. And there were a couple of things that I saw, and I was like, really? What happened? But starts out 12 hours, 43 minutes left. Shows from the clip from last week, and then it cuts to this week, and it's this week's episode, and it's got 11 hours, 30 minutes left. So we're half a day away from taking over 3/4 of America. Gotta ask you, what's the good in taking over 3/4 of America? Like, wouldn't the rest of the world, if they see you taking over, wouldn't it be easy for the rest of the world to take you out?
Yeah, that's what I would think too, Greg, to be honest with you.
It's just really interesting they wrote in, like, they're going to take over most of America. Like, it just seems like the rest of America would have a problem with it.
Well, they even mentioned that. They say that the other states aren't going to be, like, too happy with what's going on, so they're going to... But Brainwave also says the other people that they're brainwashing will fight for them. They will fight for them. So that's basically setting up a civil war in kind of a sense, because they don't think that their people are going to take this like sitting down.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's pretty cool. They do drop the little nugget there, so that kind of answers that question you're thinking of. I love how it opens with Brainwave and Icicle talking about Project New America,
mm-hmm.
and Icicle basically saying like, "Let me know when they're killed, when they're dead."
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's fully done with Barbara now, and there is no redeemability to him at all.
You talking about Icicle, Jordan?
Yeah.
See, because I kind of felt like he looks like he's kind of conflicted.
I didn't get it at all.
Show.
I got by the end of it that he was completely done with it.
Okay, I wonder what made him think that, because there's no interaction between the two.
Just his facial expressions and the way he kind of plays it, that he's done with it after. I also really enjoyed the two fight scenes. I enjoyed the Courtney and Barbara versus Tigress a lot more than Pat versus Sportsmaster.
Well, because that wasn't really a fight. That was just Pat getting his ass beat by Sportsmaster.
Yeah, Pat got his ass beat, and I really loved how Barbara was like proud and actually kind of looked like she was enjoying watching Court like fight and do her stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
she says like that was awesome. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I mean, it's what you'd want. It's the reaction you'd want, because there ain't no changing it at this point. I thought it was cool how it's the staff. She was falling backwards. The staff caught her and then spun her around. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, the last blast in the Tigress fight, because we didn't bring it up, but Tigress goes after Courtney and Barbara, and Sportsmaster goes after Mike and Pat.
Yeah, well, I kind of introduced that a minute ago.
Well, I don't think we brought that part. We just started talking about the fight. But
I said both ways. Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
Anyway, so I gotta ask, the blast that Courtney uses with the staff to blast. What's Tigress out of the window? Why don't you use that blast more often? That seemed to be pretty powerful. That seemed like a pretty good move.
She used the same thing with Dragon King.
Yeah, but I don't know.
She hit him with the blast exact same way, sent him back flying. And this blast didn't kill Tigress. She got up after a while and went on again with Sportsmaster. We kind of jumped the gun there, because both of them, after this fight, well, we didn't jump the gun really. After like Courtney and Barbara get away, and Pat and Mike get away, and they all meet back, they all converge at a cottage, we'll call it, just outside the city. And while this is going on, the violinist is summoned and goes to help Sportsmaster and Tigress. But this is what I was talking about, thinking about, because while watching this, I was thinking, like, man, the ISA is quite scary when they're working together and all on the same page. But I was thinking, like, normally with these groups, infighting causes them to fall apart. And we get that here with the violinist really talking a lot of shit about Sportsmaster and Tigress and how crappy parents they are and how crappy their kids turn out. And Tigress just straight up kills her. And we lose another character quite easily. And I don't think this is going to go over well for the violinist's kid, because he was pretty soft there when she was talking to him about getting bullied for being in a band. And it didn't seem like that. Like, I just want to put it out there now. We used to get chased for a half hour by, I want to say, like, I went to a K-12 school. So when I was in grade 6 and grade 5, the grade 12s would like chase you and literally beat you up so that you were bruised, like bruises all over you. Nothing. You didn't really say much. Sometimes they would hang us by our underwear on a steel fence and just wait and laugh and watch your underwear rip. And they would like bit with each other, like which of the three of you like would fall off first from your underwear ripping. I was a really fast kid, Greg. I made sure to hang around with a lot of slow kids, so I got away a lot. Like I can honestly remember like being quite a ways away, but watching all this go down, like all the high school seniors laughing at these kids that are just hung up on the fence, and their their underwear would rip when they come back. I'd just be hiding watching it. Just
that was your credential for being a friend. You'd meet somebody like, hey, how fast are you? Let's race real quick. No, you can't be my friend. Sorry.
Let
You're
me see
faster
how
than me.
fast you are. Yeah. so that band kid, I really just laughed at that when his version of bullying was getting his suit ripped, and I could think to myself, as dude, like, oh, you don't even know the bruises that I got for just making the high school volleyball team. I got the living daylights kicked out of me. It wasn't even fit, and that was a 3-year age that was I was in grade 8 when I made the team, and the seniors weren't very happy about that. And after practice, they said run, and they chased me and got me down and beat the living daylights out of me. Like, I had bruises that I hid from my parents. I didn't want them to know. Wow. On my arms and legs, but it was more of a hazing thing. I stopped that when I became senior and was in charge of the team. There was no more hazing. I kind of cut that out, but it made me laugh at the band camp kid being like, he tore my suit and was crying about it, and I'm just like, yeah, I remember telling Dad I was getting beat up, and he said, well, you're just gonna have to learn how to fight. So two different ways to handle bullying, I guess.
Oh yeah, different times for sure.
For sure.
It's funny that I think they introduced that character. I mean, we've seen him before, right?
Yeah, once.
Okay, but it's just not much. I think they put him in there, and then the last thing his mother says, of course, is what to do. You know, what her father did, father did to stop the bullies was that point. That's probably the last thing she said to him before she died. I knew it was coming too. I knew it was coming as soon as she started insulting Tigress and Sportsmaster about their kid. I was like, oh no, this is not going bad. And I even wrote it down. I said, it seems like the JSA is coming together like a playoff push, and the ISA is falling apart, like a team that went, 12-0 and then just lost, the last three out of the last 4 games. Seems like they're starting to fall apart and not on the same page, and it does not look well for them.
Nice sports analogy, my friend.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I like sports. What do you think about Cynthia? Do you think she's going to? And I think she's going to end up helping out the JSA.
Sydney?
Is it Sydney?
I think it's Sydney.
Oh, I wrote Cynthia. I thought it was. Oh, yeah, you're right. It is Sydney, maybe.
I wrote down that. I think it's Sydney. I wrote down as well, Greg. There was a great scene between Sydney and Brainwave, where he blames her for Henry's death for some reason, which makes no sense to me at all. Right. But I think that there will be a point in time where she actually becomes good or redeems herself a little bit. Especially the way that she's been treated, and especially with Brainwave telling her that your dad thinks that you're a failed experiment, and we all feel the same way as him, like you're not worth the ISA time.
And we don't want you. Specifically said, we do not want you. So I think that might have been the final piece right there.
Yeah, Sydney is her name. Sydney Berman.
Sydney, okay. I think that Solomon Grundy's going to break her out accidentally or however it happens, and she's going to end up being a good person, somehow save the day at the end of the next episode.
I hope you're right. That will be a fun turn of events for her.
And now that you know that Sportsmaster and Tigers have killed the Isaacs, his mother, the violinist, maybe he's a good guy too. It kind of made me think that the way this is going, that maybe Mike one day is going to be the guy with the pen.
I don't think so. I think he's going to be more the replacement Stripesy. Okay. I think he's already made mention of his friend that in the comics has the pen. And I also say in that comic run, they also touch on Courtney's parent, lineage, and it's very similar to what it is in the show.
Okay.
That's why I didn't want you to see any Stargirl comics, because of her father reveal, because you were so alien with her father actually being Starman. Yeah, so I didn't really want that bubble to be burst for you.
You wanted to get really, really big and then pop, right?
Yeah.
That's what they were shooting for. I got to say, man, I had one quarrel with this one. It was the.
Can I guess? Is it Shawnee Knight bringing everyone KFC?
No, I actually enjoyed that. I thought that was pretty good. I thought that Rick with the whole code thing kind of blew me away. One, I don't think that for how big of a deal they made this, that it was a big enough thing for him to crack that code. Like what happened? I get they got the blueprint for the layer and everything, but I felt like this book was written a long time ago, before that layer and everything, the tunnels and everything were made. And two, I hate when Rick's talking about. He's like, I don't get it. I know it's a number. I've tried my birthday, my dad's birthday, my mom's birthday. I've tried everything. What could it possibly be? And I'm like, well, you tried all three of y'all's birthdays, because that's a really, really good password, a really, really good combination to lock something as yours or your family's birthday. It just seemed like it wasn't really trying real hard, because, there's lots of different combinations of numbers you can make. Pretty sure there's lots of them. So,
but no, Greg, that's cutting him a little. That's selling him a little short. He knew nothing about his father. His dickbag of a guardian/uncle never told him anything about his father. He didn't even know that he liked that Mustang car.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, why would you think you've tried everything when all you've tried?
Well, that's all he knew. That was everything to him.
Okay. Yeah.
He didn't know anything else. He didn't know his father very well at all. So I was okay with it, and I think it is touched on that. Well, he even says that his father was investigating the JSA maybe even before Shining Knight did. So they've been planning this for quite some time. Ever since the Starman death, it seems like they've been planning this Project New America.
Yeah. They may have been planning it before that. I'm not sure. But planning for a damn long time, that's for sure. I thought it was cool that Barbara wants to go on the mission at the end, because they're all breaking up into teams, and you've got I wrote down the two teams here. You've got Wildcat and where the hell did I put it at? Right there it is. You got Wildcat and Shiny Knight and Hourman, Stargirl and Stripes, and Barbara and Beth.
Yeah.
Interesting that it was Stargirl and Stripes together, because it seems like the two most powerful, would have been on the same team. But
we jumped. There was a couple of things I just want to point out before we jump into that.
Okay.
We jumped the great scene with Court and Mike, where he grabs the staff.
Mm-hmm.
I liked that. Yeah. He was wondering if the staff would have picked him if he touched it first, which clearly isn't the case. I loved how, Dr. Ito's machine reminded me so much of Cerebro, minus the helmet.
Yeah.
The setup for it just reminded me of Cerebro so much. Well, the concept is basically straight out of Cerebro, in a sense of taking control of minds like that. Mm-hmm. He uses it to just find mutants, but he can see and hear all the voices of everybody. So it's kind of similar, but I love how Dr. Ito's like, this is either going to work or it's going to turn your spine to mush.
Why would you wait until that moment to tell him that?
I don't know. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you read his thoughts with your brainwave and find out that it could be like a 50-50 proposition?
I think he stays out of their brain out of respect for them.
Yeah. Well, maybe Dr. Ito even has it so that he can't read his mind. Who knows what kind of things he's done.
That's true. Yeah, like I said, I still think he's under some kind of mind control. But we're going to find that out soon, too. Mm-hmm. Pat and Barbara trying to reconcile their differences. That's going to happen in the end. They're going to be okay. I love Pat's explanation about it being a family and, loving her and everything else. He's a great character in this show.
Well, we have I got to talk about this because what do you think about the ISA's manifesto?
If you were going to present that to somebody and then be like, if you give me complete control, this is what it'll be like, a lot of people would probably believe it. But if this is what you're going to be like and you're not going to have any control of your mind, you don't really know if that's what it's going to be like. You're basically giving them control to do whatever they want to do, and that's not what this is going to be like. Now, if it was what they were saying, if that's the new America they're shooting for, it actually doesn't sound that bad. And they even asked, they were like, are we on the right side here?
I gotta say, friend of the show, Sarah Taylor, wrote me a question for Stargirl for the show, and she was basically asking, do we think that a group of wildcards like Sportsmaster and Tigress, who thrive on chaos and competition, would go along with a peaceful plan that's like littered in the ISA's manifesto?
That's a good point.
That's a very good point, Sarah, I must say. I didn't even think about that. They do not seem like it. Maybe they're kept in the dark on exactly what will happen to the people. maybe even the tables might turn on them because they have been wild card. They have causing a bit of trouble with the killing of the coaches and just going like the violinist was going to help them go completely incapacitate all the JSA, like make it so they can't move, and have Sportsmaster Tigers take them out, and they wouldn't do it because they want the thrill of the hunt, the competition,
right, the sport of it. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, wow, really good catch, Sarah. I didn't think about that.
So I didn't even think about it till I read it with her, and she also asked, "Will Pat be the first casualty to resist the brainwave?" Because he does say 25% of the people resist it, and I think we could get a great scene where Pat is like resisting brainwave, trying to make sure he doesn't like finish off Courtney.
I don't think so, because the way I understood that is 25% of the people will resist it, and because we have control in their brain, if you resist it, then they'll stop your brain from functioning, and that's the loophole. Is if you resist,
something tells
they
me
just stop your brain from functioning.
He's going to be fighting it over and over, because brainwave immediately is like, yeah, I even have control of Pat Dugan, and he immediately goes to take control of Pat's mind to make him control Stripe and fight Courtney. So something tells me when we go into next episode, we're going to be seeing Pat resist it when Courtney's in a vulnerable position. Like, I feel like they're going to go back and forth. Then there's going to be a spot where Stripe can kill Courtney, Stargirl, and Pat's going to resist. And maybe it'll cause his mind to stop. Maybe he'll break free. Maybe the staff will somehow help him. That's what I'm banking on. Staff breaking Brainwave's control.
Mm-hmm.
And because I hope Pat isn't incapacitated for the entire season finale.
I don't think there's any way you could name it Stars and Stripes or Stars and Stripe and have him incapacitated.
Really? Because I can see it. I can see him being incapacitated, and I can see Mike taking over in the Stripe robot.
Oh, but how's she gonna get it back? He's already in the robot, hypnotized. I don't know. You know what? That's a good theory. Maybe somehow that'll work out. You're absolutely right. That would be crazy. But I didn't even think about that, because he did even mention on this one, when am I going to learn to drive that? Yeah. And he actually seemed proud of his dad.
He did.
As opposed to the kind of, resenting him the way he has been in the last few episodes.
Also, bravo to Mike, because he's in the same realm as Thea for learning secret identity, learning everything, and not flipping out and getting mad. Mm-hmm. So bravo to him.
He also hasn't faced real danger yet. Usually, whenever somebody's like that, the first time they face real danger, it changes for them, at least slightly, but it wakes them up at least. It was funny whenever he was earlier, before he made that change, and he was playing with the drill, and Pat yelled at him, and then he was like, "I'm not a child. Don't treat me like a child." And walked away. I was thinking to myself, that's exactly what you're acting like as a child. Like, that's exactly what you're acting like. Somebody yelled at you, and you pout about it and walk away. That's exactly what a child does. But, he's a child, so...
I gotta say, Greg, I love the shot of Stargirl and Stripe running towards the entrance.
The tunnel, yeah.
Yeah, like that. Oh, that's just amazing. 2 years ago, I would have thought we would have seen that in live action on a show. I just love. Bravo to DC for expanding, and like they have so many of these properties. I'm hoping for a question show on HBO Max. So I think they have everything for all ages, and Stargirl's been fantastic. And we close with finding out that the 30 minutes isn't the countdown until Brainwave starts. Brainwave has already starts at the 30-minute mark, and when those 30 minutes are up, the control is permanent.
Yeah, we found that out because the gambler actually hacks into Beth's hack, which is crazy.
And Barbara's there, like staring off into nothing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's when all the adults are. That was a pretty cool write-up right there. So it's all adults are being controlled. I wonder
fully developed brains. That's a nice way of putting it. Like you said, it's good writing there.
I wonder how he can resist. I guess he has control over who he can control within that radius, right? Because he's probably not resisting Jordan and all them, even though he really could control whoever he wanted to if he really wanted to. He could get in that machine and control everything.
That's what I'm always curious about, Greg. I wonder, will the power corrupt him?
Yeah.
And will he want to, will it not matter, RSA, JSA, anybody? So that's something I'm looking out for.
Yeah, I mean, you think about it, you could program if it's permanent after 30 minutes. You could program anybody you wanted to whatever you want to do after 30 minutes to be permanent. You're right. It's a lot of power to have.
And we close out with Stargirl and Stripe there, Brainwave taking control of Pat Dugan, and it looking like we're getting a Stargirl vs. Stripe showdown at the end.
Yeah, or at least to begin the next episode.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be so much exciting. We still got Solomon Grundy payoff that we haven't seen yet that hopefully we get.
We're going to see Ido's face again.
I promise you. Yolana's going to have words with Brainwave. I think there's going to be so much, and I really can't wait for next Monday.
So let me ask you. I know you and Chris were in the camp of no body for Henry. He's not dead. You still in that camp?
Oh, they're making it hard for me to be in that camp because of the explanation from Charles about Dr. Midnight getting stronger after Henry died because there's a release of energy. So I'm probably out on Henry coming back, maybe on this Earth anyway.
Do you think it's possible they might bring him back once in a different season later on down the road, like they've done in Arrows?
Yeah, I could see Stargirl going to the Earth that Supergirl and the Flash is on, and her seeing some of her JSA counterparts just as regular citizens, like their doppelganger version. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be pretty cool. Well, that's it, man. That's the penultimate episode. I said pandemic episode. Next week, man, we got Doom Patrol finishing up. We got Stargirl finishing up. We got a whole bunch of stuff coming up with Fandom. And then we're going to have to figure out something else to cover show-wise on here. Maybe we have to pick up some kind of old show to look at, start doing some movies.
We've been talking Watchmen, maybe listeners, or I've always wanted to do an Arrow retrospective, top 5 episodes of each season, tag it on to the end of every DC episode when we run short, DCA episode. And we're going to bounce around some ideas, but we won't implement anything, I don't think, until after Fandom.
Yeah. Gonna get a little bit of time. I'm sure once Fandom comes out, it's gonna give us a whole slew of things to talk about. So we got to kind of pan that out and see what's going on. But we definitely want to start something else soon. But something will come up, man. DC's putting a lot of stuff out there right now. You know, I mean, I've even thought about talking about doing the Harley Quinn, but that's animated, so I want to leave it for the animated show. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll put that in the option maybe. That's
right. All right, cool, man. Well, dude, let's go ahead and get out of here. You know, we're part of the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network. Check us out Tuesdays, Fridays, and 5 days a week. You can check us out. T-Bone, where can they find you at?
They can find me on Twitter at Travis_156. You can drop me a line and we can chat about DC anytime. I'm really excited for Fandom. Hit me up with anything you think is going to happen or what you hope or want to happen.
That's a good question.
We'd love to get predictions, even maybe next week, get some predictions from you, the listeners, what you think is going to happen at Fandom. And maybe we'll discuss some of the cooler, more interesting things we get.
Yep. Yeah, man. And you can find me at the BatDaddy52 on Twitter. That's pretty much the only spot you can find me. Check me out on Tuesday mornings here on the DC Lunch Podcast. Friday, Super Civil Servants. Fridays, Superhero Discussions. And Tuesday on C3 Panthers Podcast, which you can get live on YouTube at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same weekend, Super Civil Servants on Friday. Lots of places to find me, and I'm open to talk to anybody about all this kind of stuff. There's some questions out there. Fans, thank you so much for listening. Thank you, patrons, for donating. And to everybody else out there, keep pounding.
DC rules, Marvel rules.